I've been exploring Google's Jamboard, and I thought I'd like to kind of show you some of the things I've learned. What you see here is maybe kind of an unusual display. I'm mirroring my iPad to my desktop machine, and you also see on the desktop an open web browser, which happens to be Chrome. I want to show how it kind of works back and forth between multiple devices. So I'm going to open Jamboard first of all, and since I have that, I'm going to create here a new jam. Takes just a second, and there we are. Quickly, this is a whiteboard, and Jamboard, of course, was originally a whiteboard company, but the software now is available through Google, and think of it as an online interactive whiteboard system. The tools down the left-hand margin here, the pen tool for drawing, I guess you could say, or writing. Show you one thing here. Down with the pen tool, you can see you can change colors and pen, pencil, paintbrush, etc. It has an assistive components, and the one I find interesting to use or most useful perhaps is the text tool. It will basically try to read what I write if I ask it to, and display that. It also has a way to try to do that with things I draw, which is really kind of fun to play with. But this is the way basically you would write on your whiteboard. As an eraser, the second tool down, the third tool, you select that, and it's for moving objects around on the screen. I think that's called the lightning tool, the next one, and that is useful for making it easy to see the movement of the cursor. And so if you're moving around quickly, it's easier to follow that way. And then you have the plus, which gives you options to other kinds of things. Sticky note, I'm going to demonstrate. That's useful for adding typed text in a window, which is great, and various ways, actually, in this case, to put up images, which I think is useful. So coming back then, just simple demonstration. Obviously you're used to doing stuff like this. You can see why I might want to regularize my text. Right, so you're going to solve problems on a whiteboard. That's pretty obvious use of an interactive whiteboard. Now remember, what we're going to do here is actually share that. So I'll quickly show you how you do that. The three dot options in the upper right hand corner. Turn link sharing on. I want to copy my link. I'm going to come out of Jamboard now, go into my Gmail, create a message. I can get it to paste here. Come on. Paste. There we go. Send it to myself. Okay, back to Jamboard. I'm going to come over here now in my browser, go into my Gmail account, and I assume the email has arrived by now. There it is. And so now you can see what a student would see because they have connected, and whatever I add, or maybe even more interestingly, what they add will be shared back and forth here. And you can, of course, send that same thing to multiple students. Let me add a couple other things here. Oh, I said I would show you the Assistive Tech. So let's say I want to do this. Write my name. So that's obviously more readable. Come over here. I can move it somewhere. And once I'm done, you see it comes to the other board and updates it there. Show you how to add an image library. This is accessing, well, I thought. There, there's me. So, move that around, etc. So, oh, one more thing, right? I said I would do sticky note. And again, the way I think about this is if I wanted to add a lot of text in a way that was easier to read, it's not as fast as I had hoped. Just enter text from the keyboard. Okay, and so you see how quickly that's shared with other folks who have connected to the same interactive whiteboard. Now, one valuable thing I think about this is that this is all being saved. And so work that's done could be accessed again. It's going to save it, and I'll show you that when I stop here. It's going to save that into my Google Drive account. And if I create a jam, which is what this is called, I can actually add multiple pages. They're actually called frames. And I can add up to 20. And that's what that looks like. So I can be working on a frame. Interestingly enough, the student can also be working on a frame. It doesn't even have to be the same frame. And this is going to go back and forth. Now this could be regularized too, but just quickly to demonstrate. Right, so different frame, come back, and so we can share information back and forth kind of asynchronously because it could be added at different points in time. And, you know, so what I'm saying, maybe not clearly, but what I'm saying is students could be working on different frames simultaneously. And I think that's kind of a very interesting feature. Let me move everybody back to the first frame here. Keep trying to touch on my own screen. All right, so let me give you some just general ideas for what this might be good for. So to refresh, this is an interactive online whiteboard consisting of multiple whiteboards, if you want to think of it that way. It's shared, and different participants can be following one of the frames or can be working on following a different frame, and you can have all combinations. So it's a whiteboard. It's great for worked examples, math problems, or anything in which a process will unfold on the screen. It could be used for annotating things, visuals, parts of an insect. Anytime you're going to point at something and then label it, right, in an annotated visual. I think it's great for individualization of a task. So if I, for example, prepared a jam ahead of time, I might actually put variants of this math problem I have here on different frames. I might then engage the class, demonstrate the solution to the problem in the first frame and then refer students to work on, a similar kind of problem on another frame, and I could watch them and help them. I could maybe, practically work with 5 or 6 students at a time in that way in real time as they try to solve the problem. So it's an interesting way, I think, to demonstrate and then individualize attempts at a common task. It may remind you, the frames may remind you of a presentation system, PowerPoint or Keynote or something like that. It could be used that way. And I think more interestingly, perhaps, it could be used by a group of students, each which, or a couple of students each, might work on an individual slide to create some composite presentation. So it's very versatile, it's very simple, and I think very powerful. So I hope in what I've done, I've given you enough of a feel for this that you might want to try it on your own. One last thing, perhaps, if I come now to my Google Drive, like I said, it's going to store this. So again, the work problems, for example, could be retained and shared and re-examined by students whenever that would be helpful. So that's Jamboard.